Okay, this should be working now. I don't know if it's going out on Rumble or not. I've got to click go live on Instagram. So it should be on Instagram as well. And I don't know if you can hear me or not, but if you can, let me know. Let me know if the mic volume's okay. And what I'm doing is I'm checking out some stuff that I'm trying to learn how to do with the computer and moving screens around and all that kind of stuff and going back and forth. I've got another monitor and I need an adapter for it. So if you're good with electronics or something, um, you could hop in the chat, something, let me know. Um, my son was helping me out earlier. I guess that's the privilege of having a child who's 21 is they're way better at this stuff than I am. Let me see who's here. The Biker Boutique. Hi from Connecticut. Well, hello. How are you doing? So I can see the Instagram chat up here. It shouldn't be squealing through anything. And I don't know how to get anything else up at the moment. I was going to try to squeeze that down if I could. Let me see. Okay. So let me click on this. Hello, Bjorn. How are you doing? Let me know if you can hear me okay. So I'm going to go back to the thing on Rumble. And my stream is already set up. That one ended. So I'm trying to figure out how to do is how do I do this? Switch back and forth between all of these screens. Let me go to my content. And see if it's playing. Is it playing? I am not sure. Okay, it should be live on Rumble. Let me turn the volume down so that that isn't in my ear. And then I can make that go back small. You're new to lives. Okay, cool. Biker Boutique. Buck Brown. Audio is excellent. That is awesome. I'll put a link out there in the chat if somebody wants to help me out with it. Go back to this big screen. And See if I can go back to the other. That goes back to all three. I don't actually see the Rumble chat, so let me see if I can pull that up. There we go. I don't know which one this is going out on. If it's going out on Tara Smith's Kitchen on Rumble, or if it's going out on Chasing Ghosts. I may have went on the wrong channel. So if any of y'all are on that, let me know. You can put a comment in or something. Or I might even be able to do it from over here. I gotta turn my volume down. I was gonna do a whole lot more today. It's one of those things where time just runs out on me. Not feeling that great. I was gonna clean the filter on my lowrider and do a video on that, but I need to let it dry if I do it. So let me see. So it should be going out on Chasing Ghost. Cool, cool. I'll see if I can put a message in here on the chat and see if it shows up. Yes, it did. Okay, so that one is working. And if y'all want to hop in and have a chat, that'd be awesome. Like I said, I do have another monitor. And what I'd like to be able to do is to be able to move things to different monitors where I can show different pictures. I can click on things and I can do that sort of thing and move stuff around. Let me get StreamYard back up here. Big full screen so I halfway know what I'm doing. Yeah, time runs out for us all and it's always at the worst time. So, Buck Brown, where are you at? Try not to cough in this thing. I'm also using the headset that I did a review on a week or so ago. Yeah, we're all fighting time. I had to go get some pet food supplies, that sort of thing. And I don't know if I can pull up a picture of the cat or not. Let me see if it'll do that. That's something I want to try to do. These are all from August. That's not what I want. I don't know. That's what I need to be able to do. Or if I could like pull up my Discord and do something with it. That would be amazing. You're in Charleston, South Carolina to unload in the morning. Yeah, I had the cam off for this test. I'm moving stuff around and doing a whole bunch of different things. A few things I might not want on video for perpetuity, if that makes any sense. It's what's the big one? I'm mainly testing things at the moment. I'm not gonna be on for real long. And like how to move from one screen to the other to the other. I got the camera set up, and what I'd like to get would be one of those little block things where I can plug things in and I can have more than one camera set up because I need it for two separate channels. One of them is the toy channel, and the other is my cooking channel. I I think I kind of know what's going on with my sinuses and stuff. And I think it's like all the dust and everything. Another driver's having similar problems. No, you don't need to have your camera on. Not for this one. And I know who you are. If I know who you are, that's one thing. So if you wanted to join, you wouldn't need to put it on. There's another link out there.
Howdy.
Okay, you're on there. Cool. It's I'm trying to get all this stuff set up where I can go from one screen to the other and I can move stuff because okay, like if I'm doing reviews or something, or if I'm doing a live chat, I tend to multi-stream. Like right
More power
now,
to you, because I can't do it at all. I can barely operate one device or one app.
trying to get back where it was. Oh, I know what I need to do. I need to click that. There we go. I'm gonna have to move it over again. See how we look up there. I wish I could like simulcast my stream. I don't know how to do that at the moment.
Well, the wizard to that is in bed. Sterling.
Probably. So I can still get this button over here for the mute. Okay, cool. Had to cough anyways. Think all that dust. We have a really dusty yard. We go to dusty environments and everything, and I think just inhaling all that dust with the chemicals has been what's been messing up like my sinuses and everything. We've also got a storm that's coming in.
Oh, yeah. I've been watching it. I'm trying to head back
Yeah.
towards the house. After I get this off in the morning, I'll go to Charlotte and load and go to Mississippi and try to grab something to head back to Georgia by Wednesday.
Uh, I can see my things over there.
Wow, I just figured out
So I
how
can
to
see
read.
three, huh?
I just figured out how to read the YouTube comments through StreamYard. Look at me. You're helping
Oh,
me.
cool.
You're helping me figure stuff out.
Oh, yeah. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do here. Is I need to be able to set up where I can have like pictures and stuff that I can drag over and place. Because the one channel is a toy channel, and I have an idea of what I want to do with that. And I will need to, have more than one camera for sh- showing things.
Yeah, back when you first announced that channel, I was like, a lot of the folks are gonna, they're gonna think we, they're gonna think, whoa, way off in left field with that channel name.
Yeah, a little of that's on purpose too. I was on another chat because basically
Hey,
some of my friends from like the gun community are also really big, basically geeks. And I was too poor to have most of that stuff growing up. And
oh, I remember making my own slingshots and stuff when I was a kid too.
yeah, I literally had a mud hole and a stick and dirt clods made good grenades, throwing them and like playing
Absolutely.
war with your friends. And
I think a lot of folks in the YouTube chat can relate.
oh yeah, especially of a certain age, because I mean, it's like even poor people now have way more than we had back then. It. I didn't get any new toys or anything like that. It's like all my toys ended at about age 7, and there was just
Panhandlers,
nothing.
panhandlers
Huh?
on the side of the road that don't even have a place to live have got a cell phone.
Yeah, well, cell phones didn't exist. I mean, there were rich people with car phones, and you would see like these guys, you knew they were basically, Vietnam vets, and they'd
Oh
come
yeah.
in and they'd have those hook hand things and, be carrying a briefcase and sit down. They had, I guess it's like an early version of like the bag phone, which is basically just a car phone. And it would be set up in like a briefcase, and they'd sit down at like the mall or something. That
Right.
rare chance you got to go to the arcade. And
After gathering up the old Coke bottles and turning them in for their deposits
oh
off
yeah,
the
oh
sides
yeah.
of the roads and stuff. Yeah, good
I
old
used
days.
to walk up to a curve where it wasn't too far from my house, and my mom would want me to basically wear my sisters out so they go to sleep. So they'd be trying to keep up with me, and I'm dragging them along. We go pick up all the beer cans because that's where everybody threw their beer cans and their bottles out. And I would take those in, and that was like gas money, you know?
Or or
And
or, or take them to the store so they can get a drink and a candy bar or something.
oh yeah, yeah. Now when I was real little, because my sisters are like they're 10. My younger sisters are 10 and 13 years younger than me, and so I did a lot of the raising. I was kind of that age, and we got a stick and a rock were your toys too. 2 4. Oh yeah, yeah. A stick would make a good gun, a good all kinds of things. A bat. That you're a kid and you don't have that many options for anything. Now, once my sisters came along, I got kind of basically play with their toys when I was playing with them, but I didn't get all the stuff. I was interested, and I got the Saturday morning cartoons, and eventually you got the stuff coming on in the mornings, and the weekdays that you could watch before you caught the bus kind of thing. It's still wait for the channel to come on the TV and the station call signs and all that, and watch Chilly Willy and um all that kind of stuff. But I was into all that, and I'd have friends that they had a little more money, so they'd have, the magazines and the comics and stuff, and I'd look at them and I'd look in the back and I'd always want to order something out of some of the magazines, and I never had the money to. Because I was a kid, you got the form to fill out for like the book fair and everything. And it's like, I want this, I want this, I want this, but you are never going to get the money to buy it, you know?
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
and looks like Dr. Harley is over there on Instagram. Hello, how are you doing? And is on, well, the Instagram show up over here?
It showed
Hold
up
on one
on the
second.
YouTube. It showed up in
Yeah.
unless everything's going through StreamYard. It showed him on YouTube. Yep, he's on YouTube. Evening, Dr. Harley and
Yeah.
2-4 and Sick Bastard.
I think he showed up on both
YouTube.
of them. Yeah, because I'm trying to watch the chats from all three to see who shows up. We've got 5 people on Rumble. I don't know how many are over on Instagram. Probably 1 or 2, and the rest are over on YouTube. And hello, Sick Bastard. I see your chat out there. So I think I've got to get used to looking at all 3. So I'm set up to where I can stream to 3 different locations. And like I said, the toy chat, I have an idea of what I want to do with that. And my cooking channel, I need to be able to go from like the stove to the countertop and go back and forth, which means I need another camera and I need one of those little block things. And I need to be able to like click on this camera and click on that camera and go back and forth. And I can do a lot more with that channel, like doing pastries and desserts and kolaches and stuff, and do a little bit more live of doing things that are more complicated.
Yeah.
So I'd have
More, more power to you, cause I'm for all my years used to before I got on the road as a truck driver, being a dang DJ. I this modern technology with all this stuff on phones and internets and multicasting and like stuff like you're trying. I'm lost in the sauce.
yeah,
I'm more I'm more of a gotta put my hands on it like the old cables and stuff. Like with hooking your guitar into the amp and stuff like that. I can handle stuff like that because it's
oh, I'm way better at stuff like that, more mechanical things. I mean, I build 1911s. um uh like they're steel. We're not talking some plastic 80% thing. And I'm more like physical, mechanical. I'm good at. My son, on the other hand, is better at all this computer stuff. I didn't get it online even I had no need for really the internet until about 2008, other than some occasional thing at work that I had to do or whatever. But 2008, I leased onto a company called Landstar.
yeah. We talked about
And
that.
yeah, well, they had a load board and they required that you had a computer and um hold on. 2-4 out there in the chat. My other channel is Tara Smith's Kitchen. It'll look like a interstate sign and it has Tara Smith's Kitchen on it. And the skull and crossbones on the bottom is like a chef's hat with some utensils. I'll see if I can get a thing posted in there. But anyways, I didn't use the load board much just because I didn't need it once I figured out what loads that I was going to haul. But I still needed to log in to what do you call it? Check my payroll, stuff like that.
The driver portal.
Yeah, the driver portal. You were with Landstar?
Well, most carriers will have a driver portal for their drivers to access their information.
Yeah, see, I was with them so long. In 2008, most people didn't have stuff like that to access
No,
it. And I was with them for a very long time. I
a
got a million
fellow that's
miler.
leased, a fellow that's leased here with me, he was at Landstar for years and years, and so
Yeah,
it's pretty much the same software, just different companies use it for their stuff.
right. It's but that's mainly what I would look up on it is like my payroll, stuff like that.
I mean,
But it also,
I can
you
log
know,
into my driver portal through the company I'm leased to and see all that stuff too. But heck, now it's on the app that we use that we run all our information through on the phone, so I can look at all that without even having to go through a website now, because all through their app.
okay, I'm gonna see if I can post this in the chat. There we go. That should be a link to my other channel, Tara Smith's Kitchen, if you wanted to see that. Um, but if I get the two cameras set up, like say, if I was doing kolaches or something, I could have some already kind of made or what have you, and I could go through the whole process and back and forth and put them in the oven and take. You've watched Julia Child and Justin Wilson and The Frugal Gourmet and all of them. And yes, I had PBS growing up. We didn't have cable. And you watch these channels and how they'd have something kind of prepared or different steps. You can go from one place to the other. And I could kind of more do something like that. So I kind of need to do that with that channel. Because I'm at the point where I've cooked most of the dishes and stuff. And to go further, I kind of need to do something like that. It's one thing to, have the camera over the stove and I'm making like beef and cabbage or kapuzniak or um like, garlic soup or, beef and barley or gumbo or whatever. That's one thing. And I do cook a lot of soups for several reasons because I usually eat that throughout the week. I take it on the road with me. I put it in the fridge in the truck and I heat it up at the truck stop. It's better food than I'm gonna get at a truck stop. I've been stranded in the middle of nowhere with no food, and, uh
That's a nightmare.
yeah, hold on. Hopefully, you can't hear me drinking my coffee or anything with this headset. I got,
Yeah.
like, hot coffee on my throat, and I'm a truck driver. I drink hot coffee before I go to bed. I've been drinking coffee my whole life. Coffee is a must-have. It used to be if I was gonna be parked anywhere for any length of time, I had to have a coffee pot, a payphone, and a restroom. As long as I had those things, I was good. But as all of us kind of figure out, you where was I going with that? Oh yeah, the one thing you definitely don't want to be without, no matter what time of year it is water on the truck. And you got to have food, you got to have stuff like that, because you may be snowed in a rest area for days. You know,
Well, yeah.
you might be stuck at a truck stop with no services because of a hurricane. You might be broke down in the middle of West Texas or Arizona in the middle of nowhere, and it's 110 degrees.
I think
And
I think he was in one of my live streams in January when I was in Michigan, caught in a blizzard. It was 4 below.
uh, I have so many nightmares at this point. I'm like, why don't you let the new guys go up there and let them get some of their own? I have enough, you know.
And I had my puppy with me. That was interesting. I had to find him some booties to go on his feast.
Yeah, that's gonna be something to get used to this winter, as I don't have Dennis on the truck anymore. And oh, he loved the snow. He'd get out there. He's this big old dog jumping up in the air, doing backflips in like 2, 3 foot of snow. So
Yeah,
I don't have an animal on the truck no more.
you should take one of your aliens.
I don't know if my boss will allow that. Um, it was
I was
okay
just
with
kidding.
mine.
I was just
You
kidding.
know, he was good about going to the restroom and everything, and I would stop, and we had all that kind of stuff figured out. A couple other drivers kind of brought in some smaller pets, and they weren't as good about going to the restroom and stuff, and that created a problem,
It can get a
you
little.
know.
I guess it can get a little dicey for you.
Yeah, well, sometimes we slip seat too. We've got like our main truck that we drive, and I've got a new truck now. It's a 579 Peterbilt, and I do not like the 10-speed
Welcome to the
automatic.
club. Welcome to the club.
Yeah, I like my old truck better. I had a 13 speed in it. It was great. But
Let me guess. The the 579's got the automatic.
yeah, it's got the 10-speed automatic, and I pull a tanker, and that is not working out too well.
I don't.
Um,
I don't know how well. I guess it wouldn't work that well because the last time I pulled a tanker was with the 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 food grade company out of Florida, and they had the Volvos, and they were just getting the I shifts back in 2012, 2013, and they were having a lot of issues with the I shift transmissions when they first came out, and here we were pulling full food grade tankers down
Still there?
the I shift.
Yeah, you cut out for a second, but I got the point. Um, how should I put it? I shift, you know, there's this myth that people coming out of like truck driving school and all that stuff have that only milk trucks don't have baffles. Well, most of these bulk tanks don't have baffles in them for very similar reasons. You know, having to clean them out and everything, chemical
Right.
reactions, that sort of stuff. And I posted a link to the toy channel in there as well. I don't have anything on it yet. It might be a couple of weeks before I actually get something on there. I work for a living. But you kind of try to shift not only to keep it from sloshing, but kind of with the sloshing. You get used to it. You're kind of one with it in a way.
Yeah, you kind of figure out mid surge and shift.
Right, so that you're not getting slammed in the back, you know, with a 45,000-pound jackhammer.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, no wonder I have back problems. But I shift way better than that thing does. And it's like the surge in the tank wants to confuse
The
the
transmission. Yeah.
right, because it's like, are you pulling a hill? Are you not? Or whatever. And so it shifts too hard. And I've kind of got that down a little bit where I'm kind of playing it with um
You throttle.
yeah. So I've kind of got that part down a little bit. But where it really gets weird is like, you're backing into a rock or you're backing up, in there, and it's like a scale platform up in the air. You've got the berm around it, the little containment berm, and you got that little hill you're trying to back over, and it's wanting to give it throttle. And you're not wanting to give it throttle, or you're wanting to barely touch it, so it wants to kind of roll on you the opposite direction
Oh yeah.
because you're trying to just, like you're usually going to be playing a clutch and kind of easing it in there, no problem. So now you've got your foot on the brake as hard as you can push on it, and it's just revving the motor out, and your truck's rocking, and you've got pipes and stuff hanging out like an inch from your truck on either side.
And it's causing the truck to rock. Yeah, I'm, I'm running into that situation even though I don't pull anything liquid with this end dump trailer. There's
Oh yeah.
sometimes that even with this 10-speed automatic that I have humps to back over and pits to back in, and it can get a bit dicey. And I have spotters back there telling me where to stop the rear axles so I can dump into a pit or something.
Hmm.
And it's a little bit of a delay between the throttle and the transmission engagement, and it's they're like, "Come on, back up, back up." I'm like, "It's an automatic transmission. You got to give it time to think about what it needs to do. It's not me.
Yeah, yeah. And
It's the equipment."
or you're tired and you got it jacked in a tight spot. You're backing in that last spot in the truck stop, and there's a reason that's the last spot in the truck stop.
Yeah,
It's like a
that's one good
skills
thing.
backing
That's one
test.
that's one plus about not having tail swing. We can usually find somewhere to park.
Oh yeah, I can fit it in places that other people can't, but you end up looking like an idiot because it's messing you up with the throttle part of it trying to back up, and it'll want to get that surge going when you're trying to back up and you're trying to stop it.
Absolutely.
So that's just, but anyways, you carry supplies, you're prepared for what comes. You can be stuck in the middle of the road for 16 hours. You know, ice storm, who knows where you may end up. The One of the worst things to drive on other than just like complete whiteout. And I'm not talking about, every once in a while you can see a post on the side of the road or something, mile marker or a sign and kind of guess where the road is. I'm talking, it looks like somebody spackled your windshield and you can't see a damn thing. That is terrifying. But as far as like driving, trying to hold the road, and it's one thing that messes people up when they get in the South because they're used to being up north where it gets colder and it doesn't get as cold. And it creates another problem where we have basically wet ice. And there's stuff like you hear drivers talking, well, I've still got mist coming off my tires, so the road's still good. Well, that don't mean shit on I-20 between, Fort Worth and Ranger Hill or any of that because it's still raining, it's freezing, it's frozen on the ground, and you got rain on top of ice, and you see people going off through the median and off through the trees. It's like a Montford truck just went off through the trees, and yeah, show my age there. But it's a whole different animal, and you can't drive on it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like trying to grab that ice cube off the counter that's melting. Yeah, it's kind of like, wet snow, dry. There's more wet snow than dry snow anymore, it seems. And you try to explain to people the difference. Once that snow starts packing down, it's got the water and the wet. It's kind of the same thing, but you got ice and it's got water on it. Whereas when it's 20 below, it's still ice and you'll still slide on it, but you can still get a little bit of traction. It's like that ice cube that wants to stick to your finger.
Right.
Whereas when it's like 30 degrees, 28 degrees, it's raining, or you got that packed down, wet snow with the ice underneath, or it snowed on top of the ice. It's that ice cube that keeps wanting to slip out of your hand, and they're wanting you to drive on it. And at this point, I'm like, I can clean my truck out when I get home. I'm gonna park. I have enough nightmares. You know, that praying to God that you make the next truck stop or next place that you could possibly park your truck. Just please get me there, and I promise I won't go anywhere. I'll park. Just get me there. And that's like 10, 15 miles down the road of trying to feel the crown in the middle of the road. And you can't stop because if you stop, you're sliding.
And
So you've got to keep some kind of movement going. It sucks.
those last few miles seem like they take the longest.
I got caught on one between Montrose, Colorado, and going up to like Grand Junction. And it should have been a warning sign. I pull up in the chain up area and I get out to chain my truck. And I notice the truck's walking with me. Oh shit. I hop in the truck and I get the
Not good.
truck stopped, but I can't get out of the truck, you know? And part of that problem was I had my truck parked because I was repairing it. And I was driving for one of the agents with Landstar. I was driving their truck so that I could stay with Landstar while I did all this kind of stuff. And then I eventually put that truck back on the road with them. And they only had maxi cams on one axle. And I'm sorry if I'm not keeping track of the chat as well.
Dr. Harley's out. He's
Night,
got to be
Dr.
at work
Harley.
at 5.
Yep, I gotta be up before then. But so I probably need to go to bed here pretty quick anyways. But I'm sitting in the truck and I had to wait till a set of doubles came up there. Because maxi cams on one axle, I only had one axle with parking brakes. And I got him on the radio and I'm like, you see that set of chains that's laying on the ground? Could you please ball them up behind one of my tires so I could chain this thing up? And he's laughing and he gets out. He balls them up, makes a chalk with them so that I could get out and I could chain the rest of my tires. And there's a dam out there, I think, around Gunnison, somewhere in there. It took me 6 hours to go what should have took maybe an hour and a half.
No,
And there
I'm
was
good.
no, huh?
I'm good. U-turn.
Well, there is no U-turn. There
I
is no
mean, there ain't no
anything.
U-turn, I know, but in my mind there would
And
have been.
oh yeah, any place that you could have possibly put a truck, there was already a truck there. And the road just looked like diamonds. And you couldn't stop. If you stopped, the truck immediately started sliding. And you're in the mountains of Colorado at that point, literally the mountains of Colorado.
Oh yeah.
And so you have to keep at least crawling, but you can't go too fast or you'll slide too. And I've got chains on, you know? So, and it's still not doing good.
Well, see,
So I have,
here's my personal policy nowadays. If if the laws come out to where it says, if the chain laws get enacted, guess what? I park my truck before I even get to the chain area. I'm new.
anymore,
Not
yeah. No,
not dealing with it no more.
I will chain up to get to a place to park, but if chains touch my tires, the next place that truck can park, I'm parking. And I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to chain up, chain off, chain up, chain off. I am not doing that. I'm just no. I had one load when I pulled a reefer, and they paid us extra to throw chains. You'd start off, what is that, Eurofresh down there, and Oh, what's that town off of 10 in Arizona before you get to New Mexico? Um,
In Arizona?
yeah,
Tempe?
in Arizona, huh?
No, it ain't Tempe.
No, no, it's like the last town where that TA is before you get to New Mexico if you're going eastbound. It slipped my mind. But anyways, you go north of there and there's this big greenhouse and everything. They'd have tomatoes and peppers and all that kind of stuff. And you'd load out of there and you'd head up to Flagstaff from there. You'd load up there and you'd load up at like um what is that? Snowville, something like that. No, Snowville's Utah. There's another
That
town
far
up
west.
north there. But basically you're going up, it's like 80 something out of Flagstaff. And you don't take that cut across over to 15. It's like Highway 10, something like that, like going over to the Walmart DC. Um over there like by where that canyon and all that stuff is. If the road's that bad, you won't take that road because it's going to be way worse. So you follow it at the foot of the mountains all the way up to what is that? 70. And then you're probably going to go on up over Soldier and you start dropping off south of Salt Lake. And you end up in either like Portland or Seattle. You have a whole bunch of little drops and stuff that you got to do. And I'm up there at what is that? The Gear Jammer little town. It's not Yakima. So what is that? 82 going into Washington.
Yeah.
You know, you get north of that Pendleton scale. And I worked for a company that they had our number. They inspected us every time we went through there. And this is back in the payphone days where you're standing at a payphone with a calling card. And I'm calling to let them know that I'm probably going to be about 2 hours late. And this guy starts screaming at me on the phone about how it was unacceptable. And I left the phone swinging and I went to bed.
You don't think that's acceptable? Just wait till I get there.
Oh, yeah. The road was so bad that I was physically ill, you know, and I had chains on and I'm getting blown across the road. And it's like you're physically sick. And I stopped in there and I got my fuel and you call your customer, you give everybody an update, and this guy's yelling at me. And we did have Qualcomms. It was that point of technology where you had the Qualcomms and stuff in the truck, but if you had a cell phone, you didn't use it because it was too expensive, and most truck drivers had a cell phone company on their credit report because they didn't understand what roaming was, and neither did the people setting them up for the plan. Nationwide, we're going everywhere.
Right.
And so you had your calling cards. Your Flying J card was also a calling card, but most of your points cards were also calling cards. You'd buy some, and people still had your Watts lines, your 1-800 numbers, and you did business that way. And yeah, I left the phone swinging, and I went to bed. That's what broke me up of chain. That's what broke me of chaining up and chaining off, chaining up and chaining off. That, and I'm not in the shape to do that anymore. Because that is work. And when you do all that work and you still run out of hours and you're in a chain up area and then you got to dig your truck out, it's just too much. Just find a truck stop, find a place to park the truck, and you can reschedule this stuff. And over there on the Instagram, says Mount Move is joined. Well, welcome to the chat, and don't see anything else over here on the StreamYard side, which should be picking up that one. or on Rumble. And the only place I am monetized is on Rumble. So if anybody wants to leave like a rant, which is like a super chat, that is on Rumble. But Rumble chat doesn't show up on the StreamYard thing, which is the other thing. Not all the chats will show up on StreamYard. And also, if you're multi-streaming and you're streaming to like, YouTube and Rumble and Instagram, Instagram seems to shut itself off at about an hour. And that's just the way it is right now. So there's nothing I can do about that. That's however they've got it set up, but at least I can stream over there. And it also kind of provides content for all the platforms when I'm live streaming. And if I was doing like a live review or something like I did on the headset that I'm using, the Technic headset, that sort of thing, then I can go to all of the channels and, hey, here's this item here that I'm reviewing. This is what I like about it or what I don't like about it or what have you. Or you can preload a video into StreamYard, like do a pre-recorded thing, which might work for some of them. And then like on YouTube, it would be almost like having a premiere, but it would be playing live through StreamYard, and it would go out to the other ones as well.
More technology than I want to get into.
Huh?
More technology than I want to get into.
Yeah, well, it works. Or like I was going to clean the filter because I got that big round extreme airflow filter on the lowrider, and it's a K&N filter. And I need to clean it. I might do that next weekend. I don't know. But I was going to do a video on how to clean the K&N filters. Don't force the water through, just let it run through and let it dry out and oil it and put it back on, all that good stuff. And that would be something that would be good to do like that so that I could have it on the one channel and then play it and then it streams across all of them. Because I have subscribers that are on like Instagram that aren't on YouTube.
Right.
Or Rumble that aren't on YouTube or what have you, and then it goes out to all of them.
And there's a suggestion too. You were talking about with the cooking channel with having the dual camera setup. You could do
Mhm.
that for the bike videos too.
I could do that in editing.
Yeah, you can do
I
that.
would love to do that with the GoPro, but I can't. If I could go through StreamYard with the GoPro when I have it going live, I would be able to do that. And I would be able to set the one camera up on one stream and one camera up on the other and play them both. The problem is that I would need the stream information from GoPro to put into StreamYard, and I have talked to GoPro about that, and they're not set up to do that yet. So I can go live from my camera, or I can record with my camera, but I can't go like live from my camera and play it through StreamYard.
Okay.
But
They'll
yeah,
get
that would be cool. If they come up with an update that allows me to do that, that would be awesome.
that would be.
Especially if I get like a 360 cam, like a Insta360 or something like that, and I can be playing from both cams, and you'd have the one on one side and then the 360 from the other. That'd be pretty cool.
That make good coverage.
Right. So
Here I am talking about stuff I don't even do on my own channel.
yeah, I've thought about trying to see about like with a wireless lav mic or the new ones, like I've got a GoPro, the Hero 11, and they've got the 12 and they're coming out with the 13. Those two do Bluetooth, and my thought is if they all right, if I could connect that through like my Cardo on my helmet, I'm already wired up for that. And then like going back through and editing a video, it will that would be so much easier. You know, you don't have to worry about clap syncing or anything like that to line up your audio. It's just you just look for your date and time. Okay, I was right here. Here's the conversation. Click, go to the other camera, splice that in, splice this in, and that would make a lot of things easier.
Well, as soon as I can, because I'm going to the camp out in October, and I'm supposed to
Hmm.
be meeting Rainy Ryder down there because through his channel, that giveaway for that uh, mic set, that audio headset thing for the camera, or not the camera, but who they wanted to get it, and I wound up being the one all his subscribers voted for. So I'll have a I'll have a new piece of technology to add to my arsenal as soon as I see him to pick up that I won off of his channel. So thanks to everybody who voted for me on his channel. I wasn't even expecting that. I was up against some. It was some pretty stiff competition that I thought was way more deserving than me because I don't hardly do enough on YouTube other than just support everybody else.
Awesome. And DM Foss, hello, how are you doing? I was trying to type a comment in there and put a capital F, and for some reason it made the whole screen the um the chat. I'm like, well, how do I get out of this? So I'm playing with new technology here. If I accidentally cut everything off, I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out how to do this. I need to get an adapter that goes from I can't remember what you call it. It basically the things with little screws on the side that plug in, not the smaller one, but the wider, skinnier one, to either a Type C or a USB to go to my laptop, and then that's what I need for the monitor to get like in the next weekend or two. And then I can move like the one chat over to one screen or half of this screen, and I can move the things around where I need them. Right now, I have all this. At least I figured out how to put it all on the laptop screen, but it's also really small and hard for me to read with my glasses on because I'm getting old and I need my glasses to read the street signs and I have to take them off to read a book or a computer. So, yeah. And I don't win things very often. I won a few things. I won speaking of winning things, I won a drone from Dr. Harley. He won an item. I did a giveaway after the Lone Star Rally, and he won that from me. So it's like we both won something from each other. Sorry for the coughing.
That's awesome that the community pulls together like this.
Right. I won a 45 from. If you've ever watched the Yankee Marshall's channel, I can watch it for a length of time. He's a pretty cool guy. He's got great, charities as far as helping animals and veterans and stuff like that. And he's shooting left of center. And he's kind of a little more left than most of the gun community. So there's sometimes it's like, okay. Um, but I'm not far in either direction. I'm kind of um probably more libertarian, you know. But I had won 45 off of his
Nice.
channel. I got a birdie. Well, I got to choose the gun, and so it's a seventh cav issue.
Awesome.
Like, and it's like a replica where it's got all the markings like the original ones did for, Custer's troops. And
That's a keepsake for sure. Sounds like.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's 45, not 45 long Colt. I know they put the separation on there because people don't understand ammo, but that is the original, you know. So
Yeah.
long Colt works, but it's actually that one's 45, you know. So I could get into a whole different conversation, show fields and all kind. I do like my wheel guns. I got other ones as well, and I
Maybe
don't
maybe
have
for maybe a boom boom discussion for another night.
maybe. Well, basically the media things don't like it. I used to have more. I used to have like range videos and stuff like that that I kind of took down because of YouTube, and they
But
kind
what's
of hit.
crazy? What's crazy is there's a young lady on there on YouTube. Her channel's Autumn's Armory. She's a 10-year-old little girl, and her dad's raising her to be a marksman.
Good.
And she does all kind of reviews on all kind of stuff. She goes to competitions and stuff, and she's only 10 or 11 years old. It's awesome.
That is
Somehow,
awesome.
somehow or another, she's got all kind of
Uh,
2A
Well,
content.
it's like on a live stream, you can't do anything with them anymore.
No, it's the live
I mean,
stream
I
could
know a
be.
guy whose channel he had to fight to get it taken back, get it back because they shut him down and everything. And he was having a toy chat on his geek channel, and somebody had an original Megatron, and the algorithm picked up, oh, it's a gun, it's a toy, it's a transformer, come on, you know.
Oh
But then
Lord.
you can get away with some stuff on actual videos. Like I know people they do gun reviews and all kinds of stuff like that, you know. But at the time, I just had my cooking channel, and I'd have some gun stuff in there because that's kind of the community I started off with, and with like the YouTube thing. And they downrank you, and the algorithm doesn't show your stuff, and uh, they started hitting honestly around what was that 2016 2017. They started hitting a lot of channels really really hard on that, and they still do. And I know a lot of YouTubers that went from they were looking at quitting their day job because they were making 60, 70, $80,000 a year on their YouTube channel. And then of course that's also about the same time YouTube changed a lot of things in how they're paying, and everyone was getting demonetized and trying to figure out other ways to make money, which most people they have their Patreon or they have their merch and they have all these other things where they're making money from. And it was like they were so glad that they didn't quit their day jobs,
All right.
because it was at that point where they're just making money and they're like, yeah, I could do this. And then they changed the rules on you. So that is what it is.
Yep. Glad, just glad to
And
support, try to help what little bit I can, even though I'm not as deep in it as you are.
Ricky Waters over there on Instagram. Hello, how are you doing? So that's the other thing. If I can get used to watching all the chats, I can kind of keep up a little bit with those and let people know, hey, I'm here. I notice you. And people tend to like that. But I'm not a big YouTuber, obviously. I have a small channel and I have 3 small channels. And I'm still fighting to get over 500. My cooking channel needs like 30 more people, and I need like 80 on my bike channel just to get that first, like 500 beginnings on things like monetization, what have you. But I don't have the watch hours either because that just is. Um, I'm in some
Oh,
fairly saturated
you're off to,
markets.
you're off to a good start. Just
Yeah, well,
don't burn yourself out lighting too many candles at once.
oh yeah, that is easy to do. And that's another thing is like on the cooking channel, I've had that for a whole lot longer and you end up kind of burnout is real. You know, that's the other reason why I need, like set up and kind of do something different. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. 'Cause as time progresses, as we move on, we move into different things that we pick up as we get older. Like, for instance, in the next 12 months, I'm going to be transitioning out of trucking altogether, and I can't wait. It's
I don't know
31
how
plus
much.
years. It's 31 plus years of me being on the road, and it's time for me to create a new chapter here shortly. That's why I'm
28
glad.
years with a CDL in October. And I don't know how the physical every year gets more and more terrifying. It's I was going good, and then what was it around 2009, 2010, somewhere around there, when everyone was saying that they can't measure your neck and send you for testing, and oh yeah, they do that, and subject you to at the time it was like $14,000 worth of testing, or you lose your job, and then they say, oh, you might have sleep apnea. We're gonna put you on APAP or BPAP, whatever it was, and then they eventually turn it into a CPAP, and there's like this whole bureaucracy behind it, and they're all getting their money, and doesn't matter whether you had it or not, they're gonna put you on the machine. And then as you get older, you start having to worry about other issues like your blood pressure, your sugar, your everything. And I nearly failed my vision test last year, and it's like, okay, it's like every year there's something, and at the point where you have like a 1 year physical, and it just starts getting taken down. And I've seen people, I'm not diabetic. I'm pre-diabetic. Not diabetic yet, though. Amy is. And there's like one time, I think when I started, if you were taking medicine, you couldn't drive. Then they made it as long as you weren't getting like the injections. And I don't know if you can drive if you take the injections or
No,
not now.
type 2, yeah. Type 1, no.
Right. But, that's another one of them things where they kind of change their mind every couple of years of we'll allow this or we won't allow this. And I also have a good friend that happened to work at the company I work at now. And we worked at the same company in 2004. And that's kind of that struggle of taking care of your health and being a truck driver is very hard. And the last conversation I had with him, he was trying to get in for, his medication and stuff and see the doctor because of his diabetes. And he ended up dying on the road.
That's
And
that's where the system just doesn't allow for us to have what we need when we need it, or have. Yeah, sure, there's access to it, but it comes with jumping through 90 million hoops.
it comes with losing a week's worth of pay just to go see a doctor, you know, of even though you only took the 1 day off, you had to get routed home. You got out of your lane. You missed out on these loads because they can't put you on these loads because it's at a different time. So they're giving you some junk crap, and your check might be a third of what it would have been if you didn't go to the doctor that week. And it's like you try to tell the doctor, yeah, this doctor's visit cost me $1,000. They're like, what?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, just to get routed in to see the doctor will cost you that much
it's like
because she lose.
right. It's just like with my wife passing away last July and having to get you know back to work and this that and other, and I started. I got back into the VA for you know. I was gonna need somebody to you know. I was gonna need professional. Some therapy to deal with how to process everything. I had a great community with talking with you folks and stuff like that too, but I knew I was going to need more time and a more professional opinion about how I needed to handle things from a professional standpoint. And it's hard keeping the virtual appointments through a virtual phone call once a month, and remembering you know even though I get notifications on the phone, say I got a appointment at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday morning or something, I gotta be
That was
mindful. I gotta be mindful of what time zone I'm in, so I don't miss the appointment or be somewhere loading or unloading at that time.
yeah,
And
that was a great thing about the pandemic is all of a sudden you could do these virtual appointments that a lot of doctors are getting away from now. And it's like that worked out really good for us. And there are a lot of mental issues on the I usually tell people there's a reason the walls are padded in our trucks, you know.
you ain't kidding, sis.
And um any demon in the darkest recesses of your mind, if you want to take them out and play with them, make friends with them, become a truck driver. Because all you have is time to think. And you're driving down the road just miles and miles of,
With an eighty thousand pound
somebody's
weapon, in control of an 80,000 pound weapon.
right, somebody slighted you when you were um 6 years old and you'll think about that. you know, it's anything. What was that noise on the phone? Um, did I hear someone in the background? Anything like that. All these little things that just play with your mind while you're driving down the road. And yeah, you got to have your mind. There's a certain point. It's like where I parked for a little while. I had to come home one time. Like, I got to deal with this. I can't drive. And I was a company driver then. And it's like I parked the truck at their terminal. And I'm like, if I'm coming back, I'll let you know.
Right.
And I caught a bus home because there's certain things you can't drive and have that on your mind.
And
You know,
that's where having these habits as a truck driver and a motorcycle rider, they come in handy because they go hand in hand with operating both pieces of equipment. We got to keep a heightened sense of awareness around us at all times, because the two vehicles on the road that nobody sees are a motorcycle and a truck. So we're out there and we're always in a constant state of vigilance because we know the whole world's out there moving around us, and we gotta be mindful of them, not just to keep them safe, but to keep ourselves safe.
Yep. And Salty Bagger, or what is that?
Badger,
Salty Badger.
welcome in, young man. I was in his live stream earlier, and my mom had called, and I didn't get to finish up watching his live stream.
Yeah, I got to get new glasses before my physical. I'm supposed to get these transitions kind of lens things where it's got like the prescription up top and it's not at the bottom, where I can read things with my glasses on. I don't have to get back away from it or yeah, getting older is fun. And my physical's in November around Thanksgiving. So I'm having to get my letters and everything for I got this scar and I got that scar and I got this, that, and the other. I've got a breathing test I've got to do next month. What is it? Pulmonary function test, and then go get my machine read because COVID gave me COPD and asthma. So the way the doctor explained it was like the COVID thing takes things that were already kind of damaged or what have you. You might have had a problem with later on in life, anyways, and it, what do you call it? Exacerbates it,
Yeah,
makes it worse. So now you have a problem with it now instead of later down the road. And of course, I've been around so many chemicals and stuff like that that, it's, I've been 3 foot from an exhaust stack most of my life. And, I haul has I've been covered in so many chemicals that I'm just waiting for my superpowers. I'm going to be a Marvel villain. You know, the hell with being the hero. I'm going to do what the hell I want to do. Maybe an
so if, I get,
anti-hero. I don't
so if
know.
I get over near the Baytown area and I see a glow, I'll know that's Tara.
Right, right, right. You know, but yeah, I've been
You won't
covered in
need to
so many
wear
chemicals and
you won't
everything.
need to wear no high vis no more.
Oh, no, 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 no.
Just it's
No
just
need
my
for that.
skin. It's just my charming glow.
Right, right. And but no, it has an effect on you. And most of the time, do you have a respirator on? No. All this stuff. Safety equipment exists, but do you have it? No. Are you wearing it? No. You know, you're up there closing the lid on a trailer and you're just trying to hold your breath for a second and close it down or what
If
have
it's
you,
not the
or you're
chem,
pumping.
if it's not the chemicals itself, it's the nitrogen blanket that was put on top of the stuff that was in the trailer.
Right, right, right. Or
And for those in the chat that don't know what a nitrogen blanket is, when they load some of these tanks with some of these products, they can't contact air, so they hook a valve in off a nitrogen line and pump nitrogen into the trailer to remove the air, the oxygen, because oxygen can't make contact with certain chemicals, and you got to be careful when you open the dome lids because you don't need to be breathing.
it's reactive. Pretty much anything reactive, whether it's reactive with air or explosive or what have you, the nitrogen is like the inert gas, and they pump that in there so the top of it's filled with nitrogen so you don't have any problems with it.
Right.
And or you're running like a vac tank and you're pumping wastewater and that stuff's so strong that your eyes are watering, because it's coming out the exhaust of your pump. And I got covered one time. We're pulling off of this tank that's like, for some reason, it was up in the air and it was filled with this stuff that was basically, it smelled like raw sewage. And we had like 6 or 7 hoses. I wasn't the only driver that got sprayed at that job, but to go down to go to my tank, and I'm pumping out of it, I shut everything down. And I ask them, "Did you pull the hose?" "Yes, we pulled the hose." "You sure you pulled the hose? Because it's not feeling right, and the line should be empty, and it's not feeling empty, and what have you." And the problem is, it'll act like a siphon when it's up in the air like that. And as soon as I cracked those ears, it sprayed out of the end of that hose off the back of the trailer. I got soaked, and I shut everything down, left the truck right where it was. I always have spare clothes with me. I grabbed my spare clothes. I went inside. I locked everyone out, and I took a shower and I changed my clothes. You know, but yeah, I've been covered in all kinds of stuff. I grew up on a farm where, I've been, all the people around me would hire me to go do things because they knew I wanted money. And you're going in, you're cleaning out stables, and you got a pickaxe, and that stuff's coming up in like, sheets with a pickaxe, and you're loading a wheelbarrow and moldy manure that's been packed in there.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that all has an effect on you later on in life.
Oh, absolutely.
So, anyways, I I figured out how to do this, I believe. So now I just need to get the monitor set up where I can move things where I want them. And I have the chats are up here. And Goofy Bastard is on the Instagram chat over there. Hello, how are you doing? Um, so I can view the things. I'm not paying StreamYard more where I can have more than 3 chats up there. And 3 is about all I want to deal with right now, anyways. Um, but I can see all 3, and I need to be able to pull pictures in, like go to my photos and grab a picture and pull that and put it in there and everything else. And basically, I need another monitor set up where I can move everything around. I think I have this figured out.
Good
We
deal.
will see. And thank you for hopping on the chat,
Oh,
giving me
absolutely.
someone to talk. Chats go way better when you have somebody on the chat to talk to. And excuse me. My plan is to go to the camp out in October.
Absolutely.
If
Be glad to have you.
hopefully nothing changes, the industry and everything else, and we're looking at possibly getting hit by a hurricane here. But also, I do the Lone Star Rally, filmed it last year. If y'all haven't seen that, y'all can go back through my videos. Um, November of last year, the Lone Star Rally. This year it's the last week in October. Hold on one second. Okay. Um, the week before that is Shade Trees Camp Out. I'm gonna try to take 2 weeks off of work. I have the vacation in, I have the time. I'm gonna try to take the 1 week off for Shade Trees, and I have some medical testing that I have to do that week too, because I'm getting ready for my physical in November, and then my DOT physical. So that's my actual job, what pays the bills. And then the Lone Star rallies after that. So the next weekend I'll be at the Lone Star rally, and I'll be filming there, and I'll probably be going live from Instagram, and I'll be filming for YouTube, same as I did last year. I'll probably hopefully do it a little better than I did last year. But if you look a year ago, you can see all my Lone Star Rally videos, and I was going down the Strand while I was live streaming, and that was awesome. At night in a parade down the middle of a party. And I was looking for another YouTuber, Mexifills, if you've ever seen him. he goes to all the rallies and he sells bandanas and all that kind of stuff, and he's on there. And I was looking for him, but then I'm like, oh, he's probably left. And I happened to make a turn that put me in the parade route, and I'm just going right down the middle of the parade. And I'm like, this is awesome. And I was live streaming at the time. So, but I'll be down there again this year, and hopefully I'll make shade trees as well if nothing changes. Um, I'm the only driver at my job that can do one of the pieces of equipment that we have because the other driver got fired. So, not my business to get into or tell why he got fired, but um, just because you're in your 50s doesn't mean you don't do stupid shit. So,
Right. Hey, we do stupid shit every day.
yeah, age does not preclude you from being an idiot. Um,
Well, as a man, I can honestly say that men don't grow up; they just grow old.
I have heard some things to that regard.
Yeah, because my body tells me every day, nope, you can't do this no more. You can't do that no more. Even though your mind's saying, yeah, let's try it.
In my mind, I graduated high school yesterday, and my kids are grown, and I've got a mortgage. And it's like, what happened? I have no idea. You blink, and it just don't blink anymore. You know, it's every
Absolutely.
time you blink, it's God, decades passed.
Well, alrighty. Glad I was able to add to some of the commentary. Appreciate you.
All right. Well, thank you. And
Absolutely. Everybody joining the chat on all the streams, all the different methods of streams. I can't see but YouTube on my end, but sure is glad to have everybody joining in and just watching the madness unfold.
yeah, watching me talk about random topics and figure out how to work a computer. So that's where we're at. And thank you, Buck Brown, for hopping in here. It's
Oh,
like I
absolutely.
said earlier, it works much better if you have someone to talk to. Um, thank everyone for joining in the chat and listening. Y'all are awesome. And I'm gonna have to get offline because I have to see. I have to unload at 8:30 in the morning, which means I'm gonna have to pick up my trailer at 6:30 in the morning, which means I need to be at work at 5, which means I need to leave here about 4 a.m., which means I need to wake up at 2 a.m. So that's truck driver math for anyone that doesn't drive a truck, figuring out what you got to do there. But thank you so much, and
Yes,
I'm going to go ahead
absolutely.
and get out of here.
All right, y'all have a good evening. Appreciate everybody.
All right, thank you. Bye bye.